as we see the sophistication of infrastructure and smart systems and digitization and new technologies, we really see more of a heavy reliance on infrastructure and connectivity. So I see my colleague, Jenny Grapel, one of our salespeople on the call, and I can almost clockwork every month. She gets a call from a customer or a prospective customer saying, hey, we're moving our site, so we need a new connection at this new location. Great, we'd be happy to help you. When do you need that location? Or when do you need that connection? Oh, by the end of the week. So realize what's happening here. This company has decided to move, organized the move, and went through the process of signing a real estate agreement, but they forgot about connectivity. So they're going to move to this site and they're going to be blind. So something we want to avoid as we move into digitization, as we move into smart systems, we want to avoid that. We want to go forward. Okay, so what is the infrastructure? The infrastructure really provides a link between all the components and technologies and allows them to function. As these systems get more sophisticated, they require more sophistication in the network. Gone are the days when network providers are really supplying dumb pipe, right? No, what I call sort of a send and pray model. The internet we're on today is somewhat of, well, it is a send and pray model. We have a connection into our homes, we have a connection into our sites, we send data out, we communicate, we stream, and we hope that it's going to get there, right? These applications, the more sophistication of them, the more we rely on them, right? It brings much more demand on the network, on that infrastructure. All right. So the other thing, more reliance on the infrastructure, but the other thing I don't want to, minimize is the storage of data. Applications, these store a ton of data. And as we move in time, there's more and more data being generated in every environment. So this data needs to be transported on time, consistently, and intact. On top of that, it needs to be stored, secured, backed up, and needs to be accessible. Not a simple task. There's a lot of nuances to how you do this. Now, the final product of any good solution or any good infrastructure or design is an amalgamation of a series of technologies and strategies. One of the main ones we talk a lot about, especially in the networking world, is redundancy, geo-redundancy, etc. So we really want to ensure critical systems where does your technology reside? Do your smart systems reside on a single server in one location? Do you have a backup? If anything happens at that, whatever that would be, it could be a power failure, it could be anything, it could be a fiber cut. You still want to be up, you still want to be going, right? Any significant instant, you want it to be resilient to. You hear a lot of talk in our industry about something called SD-WAN, right? Software Defined Wide Area Network. And when I talk about the applications, etc., are asking more of the network to do, this is the solution that the industry has come up with. It's almost become sort of a buzzword more as much as it is a technology in our industry. And some of you from outside of you may have even heard of it, SD-WAN. In David's slide, he had a point there. He talked about turning on the lights, and those systems need to be resilient, dependable, secure, and utility grade. This is what SD-WAN is bringing us. So what these networks do for us is really the ability to build the intelligence that the applications need into the networking layer, into the connectivity layer. So let me talk about a few points about that. We talked about redundancy. Redundancy and something called congestion mitigation. We lost David for whatever reason. He had a technical issue, a network issue. Think about being in your environment and with your critical systems providing heat, power, etc., and being blind to them, right? For 30 seconds. 30 seconds may not be bad, but I'm sure I know some of your environments. 30 seconds when you're blind, you know, it's a very concerning situation. Think of that was an hour, right? So the system you need and the connections that you have, the connectivity needs to be as resilient as the systems that you've built in your infrastructure, right? If you are out, if in an hour you're out for 30 seconds in an hour, lots of people are going to be up awake in the middle of the night thinking about what's happening, you know, and trying to avoid any catastrophes, right? So different technologies, dynamic failover, right? One of the things that this fancy new term SD-WAN does, it allows you to choose the best connection. So let's think about that for a second. If you have a site and you have multiple connections at this site, and again, I pick on David where he has one internet connection, right? And if he has a problem with that, he's in trouble. I have a single one at home. If I have a problem with that, I'm in trouble. So I'm kind of sitting here hoping that my wife doesn't use all the internet bandwidth and that everybody can still hear me. But if I have multiple connections, what SD-WAN or the network is smart enough to say is, hey, you're using connection 1. And at this instant in time, this connection isn't so good. But you know what? You have a second connection. So what I am going to do is I'm going to send your traffic down the second connection, which happens to be performing very well at this instant in time. Okay, so really, we've seen this in our implementation with clients, where even to the perspective of they have two connections that are just kind of okay or not too bad, you know, depending on how you look at it. But as you combine them and the intelligence of the software-defined network creates one very good, solid, reliable, resilient, dependable, utility-grade connection. Right? Some of the things, again, really the applications, and as the world digitizes and your environments digitize, and as your systems we're more reliant on them, you really need these types of technologies in place to provide not just monitoring, but control of systems as well, being able to control at any time, 24/7. In addition, it's a great technology for remote sites, right? Lots of our customers have locations in remote geographies, right, where there isn't very much choice. So a single connection or two single connections using the best that they can get at that time. The technology is really technology agnostic in that we can use cellular networks. We can use fixed wireless. We can use fiber. Fiber is great, but it's not everywhere. So we can use these other technologies, amalgamate them together, and provide connectivity reliably and dependably. The result being, when you combine all these features together, providing a reliable network, providing a redundant network, is really the ability to enable smart systems and new technologies effectively and prepare for tomorrow's district energy networks.